Welcome to the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction Postgame Show, where the Sacramento Kings fall yet again to the Utah Jazz by a final of 103-91. No DeMarcus Cousins, no Rudy Gay, no Nick Stauskas. A shorthanded club. They fought hard for about three quarters, and then they laid down. I am James Ham. Joining me as always, Mr. Rui Thomas. Say hello, Rui.
Hello.
There's Rui. All right. Sacramento Kings are now 9-17 under George Karl, 27-51 on the season. The Utah Jazz are a surprisingly good team. I don't know how they're good. Hat tip to Quinn Snyder for doing some amazing things there in Utah. He has that Jazz team. Everyone talks about the vaunted, Western Conference. Oh, it's so tough. Well, the Utah Jazz, with so little talent, it's ridiculous, are 36-42 on the season. And they are impressing me every time we get to see them. They really have stormed here in the second half of the season, and they're a much improved club. What are your thoughts on the Jazz, Mr. Rui Thomas?
Well, they don't have big names, but they definitely have talent, and these guys are willing to play defense. That's what Quinn Snyder has gotten them to do. They're rotating. They have a great front court. You have Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert down low, who are excellent defending the rim, and you have guys like Dante Exum on the perimeter, who have large wingspans and who are willing to disrupt passes and play physical. So I believe the Jazz allow the fewest points in the NBA per game this season. The number might be way off, but that's what I saw last time I checked. And we didn't see much defense from the Jazz in the first half, or not after their elite second half standard. But in the second half, that's when they really started to pick things up and force the Kings into more turnovers.
Yeah, I mean the Jazz have some talent. It's certainly they are good defensively, but we're talking about guys who are decent players. They have no all-star level or even near all-star level talent on this team. Derek Favors is a nice player. Gordon Hayward is a nice player. Not quite sure what's going on with Gordon Hayward. The last two times we've seen him play against the Kings, man, he's just thrown up a stinker, just like totally unengaged. I don't know. I don't know about you, Rui, but I want to see Reggie Evans get him in a headlock and noogie him and break up all that gel in his hair. It's like he comes out there with this perfect haircut, and I thought he did not play well at all for the second time. Rudy Gobert is sort of that long, freaky shot blocking guy. Exum is a young player who's coming along. The guy that's really impressed me in the two matchups that we've seen is Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood's kind of come out of nowhere to develop, especially with Burke out for the season. So he's definitely got an opportunity and made the most of it. All right, let's get to some of these numbers. Omri Caspi. I'm not quite sure what's gotten into Omri since the All-Star break. But my goodness, does he not just love the George Karl system? 16 points on 5 of 9 shooting tonight, 31 minutes. He hits all three of his triples. He does turn the ball over 5 times. But, Rui, it seems like there has been an awakening with Omri Caspi over the last week, where he's really putting up some incredible offensive numbers for the Kings. What are your thoughts?
Oh, James, it's amazing. Omri has definitely come to life in the starting lineup. I wrote about it about a week ago. But he plays hard. George Karl recognizes that, and it's pretty obvious by watching him because he crashes both offensive and defensive glass. You see him sprinting down, for the outlet for those easy dunks and layups he always gets, and he's finding his three ball again. He's been shooting over 40% since entering the starting lineup. So there really is no reason not to start him other than his defense. But his defense tonight was solid. He kept Gordon Hayward in check again. So, he's definitely been one of the best Kings players, in this recent stretch.
Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, but I do know that he loves Sacramento. He would love to be back. I'm sure the Kings would love to have him back. He's been sort of that between him and Derek Williams, they've brought some excitement. But there's actually some substance to what Caspi brings, where I don't believe that there's any substance to what Derek Williams has brought. I think that he's back again next season, and maybe on a 2 or 3 year deal. I think he's earned a nice little paycheck. He's still only 26 years old. He's still got some potential here, and I think whether it's off the bench or in the starting unit, I think you're not a bad team if Omri Caspi is on it going forward. All right, let's get to Carl Landry. Carl Landry has basically been put in mothballs this season. We've seen very little from him, especially in the George Karl era. Even if he starts, it's just momentarily. He's not built to run. And tonight he comes in and he has a really nice game. Again, no Rudy Gay to eat up minutes at the 4, no DeMarcus Cousins at the 5. So you needed a post scorer. 16 points, 6 of 11 shooting for Landry, but 2 rebounds in 35 minutes. I mean, Landry's not a good rebounder. He's never been a good rebounder. I think his offensive rebounding numbers are equal to or greater than his defensive rebounding numbers throughout his career. And tonight we kind of get the same thing. It's a lackluster rebounding effort, which really hurt the Kings because the Kings got smoked on the glass. And it's guys like Landry who finished with 2. Again, Williams only has 5 and he plays big minutes. McLemore has 0 rebounds from the shooting guard position. What are your thoughts on what Carl Landry brought tonight, Rui?
Well, offensively, he was great. His mid-range has been on all season, and it was sharp tonight. Yeah, he scored those 16 points in a fairly efficient way. Derek Favors outplayed him for most of the night, however. Derek Favors wiped him out on the boards. He pulled down 5 offensive boards and had 11 rebounds to go along with his 18 points. So, Carl Landry was a non-factor on the other end. I mean, a lot of times I just see him in, bad position, so he's not close enough to the ball. And when he is, that's when guys like Favors, who are bigger and stronger and more athletic than Landry, can just jump over him. So the spot start coming off that suspension from last night. I mean, he looked sharp, but as a starting power forward in the NBA, 2 rebounds is unacceptable. I mean, those are like Andrea Bargnani numbers.
Oh no, you went Bargnani on him. He had Bargnani type numbers. That's ugly. That's not what you want out of your starting power forward, even if it's in a spot start. Although Landry has started the better part of, 5 or 6 games here down the stretch. All right, let's get to a couple of these other players. Jason Thompson starts in the middle for DeMarcus Cousins, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Sloppy play by Thompson. I thought that he had some good moments and then some really suspect moments. He did do a solid job on the glass. I think he probably could have got to the line a little bit more. But, this is kind of what you're going to get out of Jason Thompson in these spot starts. He did miss like a wide open dunk that was pretty embarrassing. He could have had a little bit better night, especially, he had a big start to this game. What are your thoughts on Thompson's night?
Well, yeah, the double-double is nice, but, his shot selection tonight wasn't very sharp. I feel like when Cousins is out and he gets these starts, he almost feels like he has, a lot more freedom to chuck. So we saw him take a few really bad off-balance jumpers and then that missed dunk layup in transition that you mentioned. But, as far as holding down the, anchoring the center, he did a solid job tonight. I mean, Rudy Gobert wasn't too much of a factor on the offensive end. And, Thompson was very physical. I mean, he picked up a couple of fouls. He was shoving Gobert a lot. So, it was a good effort by Thompson, in my opinion. You take the lumps with the offense.
All right, let's get to Derek Williams, 14 points, 5 rebounds. He did have 3 steals tonight. Derek Williams has kind of fallen in love with the 3-ball. He's hitting it. Tonight he does all right from behind the arc, 3 of 7 from deep, but it's something that George Karl has been leery of, not convinced that Derek Williams is a true 3-point shooter and would prefer to have him do a little bit more off the dribble, do a little bit more in the post. And, of course, he loves the Derek Williams breakouts. Everyone does. Williams had that incredible alley-oop from Andre Miller in I think, the end of the first half. It was just absolutely nasty. A nice play. Ben McLemore. Now, I'm going to be harsh again. Here we have a player that is young, and he's coming to the end of a season. And tonight he goes for 16 points on 5 of 12 shooting. He misses all 3 of his 3-pointers, which is one issue. But, my goodness, it seems like every time I see a wide-open shooter on the perimeter lined up, catching and shooting a three ball. Again, the Utah Jazz go 13 of 31 from behind the arc. Every single time, it seems like I see Ben McLemore go, "Oh no!" and try to run out and guard his man from the box, and it's too late, and he gets a three-pointer. Are you seeing like, are you seeing what I'm seeing, Rui? Because it sort of seemed to me that all of these wide open threes, I don't want to put all 31 three-point attempts on Ben McLemore, but I certainly want to put more than his fair share right on top of Ben McLemore. And to me, it's a defensive awareness issue. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, McLemore likes to, peel off of his man or cheat off of his man to go down the paint for whatever reason. And then, we see the opponent camping on the corner, the shooting guard, and yeah, McLemore runs out, flailing his arms, and usually that three-pointer goes in. I mean, this has been the fifth straight game, I believe, the Kings have allowed an opposing shooting guard to score over 20 points or at least 20 points after Rodney Hood's performance tonight. So, I mean, it's pretty easy, yeah, to see, where the hole in the defense is. McLemore, I mean, the Kings, it's a well-known fact that they struggle, playing defense in the perimeter, and maybe someone needs to sit down with McLemore and tell him you don't need to collapse in the paint so hard.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. What is he doing when he's collapsing? I mean, either if you're collapsing, you're either trying to get steals from big men, or maybe you're trying to help out and maybe box out and do some rotation stuff. I don't know. When you come away with 0 rebounds and you play 38 minutes of action, again, that is a huge, huge issue. Just going to call him out here. Just say, look, you got to finish strong here. One steal. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over, but again, that the just glaring number of 0 rebounds when you're the guy who's giving up all of these three-point attempts, it's not going to work going forward. This is a position that's going to have to be fixed going forward, and they're going to need some veteran leadership there. I don't know what they're going to do. Overall, I thought McLemore looked good offensively, but we can't keep talking about it night in and night out all season long. Ray McCallum has an uncharacteristically horrible game. He goes for 3 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 of 7 from the field, and he plays 33 minutes. The Kings were grasping at straws here with no Nick Stauskas. Even if Stauskas only plays 13 or 14 minutes, you still need those minutes eaten by somebody. And tonight it was a little bit of Andre Miller pushing Ray McCallum over to the 2 to back up McLemore, and it really didn't work out. I think the Kings probably should have fed Omri Caspi a little bit more and got him more than 9 shots. All right, let's get to our keys to the game. Our first key is second chances. Why don't you take this first key, Rui?
So last Sunday when the Kings lost to the Jazz, they allowed the Jazz to have 34 combined extra possessions. Well, when I say combined, between turnovers and offensive rebounds, they did a much better job tonight. They did allow 4 offensive rebounds to the Jazz in the first half of the first quarter in the game, but they finished with 13 offensive rebounds for the Jazz. The Kings also only had 10 turnovers tonight, but they spilled 4 in the fourth quarter. Not very timely. The Jazz did outscore the Kings in second chance points, 19-15. But I mean, it was a better. I mean, this game was clearly not as sloppy as Sunday's effort, but those still come. It still comes down to those second opportunities. Especially when the Jazz can swing it around, banging a wide open three, catch the Kings defense off guard.
Yeah, I would agree. They did a better job. It was not a great job, but a better job. All right, let's get to our second key, which is focus on the line. 62% the Kings are shooting from the free throw line over the last 6 games. Tonight, same exact thing. 64.3%. They go 18 of 28 from the line. That's not good, especially when you're shooting that many free throws. Again, we're having issues with guys like Derek Williams go 1 of 4 from the line. And then a bunch of other guys just miss, a free throw here, a free throw there. I mean, you're going to expect Reggie Evans to miss some free throws, but overall, I mean, this is one of those issues that have developed. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I know DeMarcus Cousins and Rudy Gay together on the floor, not only do they get to the line a lot, but they also hit a lot of free throws. They're both really, really good free throw shooters. And now you're relying on secondary guys to get those opportunities. But what are your thoughts on the line issue tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it could be fatigue at this point in the season, but you could say the same for every other NBA team, and that's not the case. I mean, the Kings went 6 for 11 from the free throw line in the second half, and when you miss 10 free throws in a game and it's an 11-point game, that's an easy place to look at why they lost. Yeah, you talk about Reggie Evans. He missed a couple free throws tonight, which you can expect. We saw Cassie miss one, Landry missed two, which is a little odd for Landry. Oh, Derek Williams was 1 for 4 from the free throw line tonight. I mean, it's strange to me when I see a guy shoot better from the 3-point line than the free throw line, because Derek Williams went 3 for 7 from behind the arc today. So I don't know, focus, fatigue. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would agree. Focus, fatigue, lack of will, trying to get this long season over with. It's disastrous 2014-2015 season. All right, let's get to our third key, clamping down. The opposing shooting guard has lit the Sacramento Kings up again and again and again and again. We saw this a lot last year. We're seeing it a lot recently. Again, Rodney Hood tonight, I'll just tell you right now, he's my MVP on the night. He goes for 20 points, 7 of 14 shooting, 3 of 7 from behind the arc. He has 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Again, when the opposing shooting guard has 8 rebounds and your shooting guard has 0, that's not going to work out good for you, especially when you're leaving him wide open for 3 balls as well. What are you seeing from this position that's going wrong right now?
At the 2 guard, well, yeah, I mean, McLemore not disciplined. Stauskas' defense has improved, since the first half of the season, but it still has a ways to go. And with McCallum's regression in on-ball defense since he's become a starter, I mean, it's not good. I mean, Andre Miller knows what to do, but his body obviously won't react the way it did 10 years ago. So you have 3 young backcourt players and an ancient backcourt player. None of them are playing average NBA defense right now, which is a recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster. All right. I already said my MVP. Who's your MVP, Mr. Rui Thomas?
Can I do co-MVPs? Because I'd like to go with Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert, because they dominated the paint tonight. They both finished with double-doubles, and Gobert was a force. I mean, he only had 2 blocks. Favors had 3 blocks. They both made their presence felt because they deflected a lot of shots that didn't count as blocks. And, I think I even saw Andre Miller shoot a shot that went hit the side of the backboard. So, I mean, those guys definitely had an impact in the paint.
I would agree. They had a huge impact in the paint. I'm still going to stick with Rodney Hood just because I like what he's done against the Kings both times out here in the last week while the Kings have played him. All right, hey, Rui, we're winding down, man. The season is almost over. Sacramento Kings have 4 games remaining in the entire season. 3 of those games are on the road. We've got a game Friday night against Oklahoma City Thunder. Rui will not be in attendance. I will have to fly solo on the road recap. Probably be a little bit late as well. We got the Denver Nuggets on Sunday, followed by a back-to-back with the Lakers at Sacramento Kings. Kings finish up the 2014-2015 season next Wednesday against the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. There's not much time left here. The Kings have 27 wins. They need 1 more to match what their last 2 or 3. It would be nice to see them maybe win 3 out of 4 here. Maybe 2 out of 4, push for 29, 30 wins. That would be a good thing to sort of finish this season off. So, Rui, do you have any final thoughts?
To add to that end of the season, I think it's a win-win situation here, because if the Kings do win, they'll build some momentum heading into next season. If they lose, then they improve their draft pick status.
There you go. Someone's trying to put a rainbow lining on this. There it is. All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction Postgame Show. We will be back Friday night as the Kings face the Oklahoma City Thunder and the high-flying Russell Westbrook with so much on the line. It's ridiculous. I think that this is one of those games that the Kings are going to have a really, really tough time, especially if either Rudy Gay or DeMarcus Cousins don't return to action. We have no idea what's going to happen with either one of those players. Rudy Gay is back into the NBA concussion protocol as long as he's having symptoms like headaches, which he had yesterday following the game against Minnesota Timberwolves. He will not play. DeMarcus Cousins has a sore right foot. We're not sure about him either. Nick Stauskas is nursing a lower back strain. There's a good chance we'll see more of Nick Stauskas before the season is over. We'll see about everyone else. Congratulations to the big boy Sim Bular for picking up his first NBA basket, a sweet little jump hook late in this game. The first, let's see, how do we say this? Canadian of Indian descent to ever play in the NBA. Very good young man who's been thrown into a whirlwind of media attention. Congratulations to Sim. Very, very nice job with the little baby jump hook. Nothing but net. When you're 7'5", I think you're shooting down at the net, the rim, and that's always a fun thing. So again, that's going to do it for this edition of the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction Postgame Show. We'll be back soon for Rui Thomas. Say goodnight, Rui.
Good night.
I am James Ham. We'll see you on Friday evening.